So hello, it's lovely to see you. Um, I decided to do Carly because she's actually the one who inspired the 40-day meditation. So I did a class on her a while back, and hang on a sec. I did a class on her a while back, and I kind of felt this amazing power and this transmission arriving. And I was like, wow, I need to do something with this. And so, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share some of that class I did, which was for like a special triple goddess program I did with Unlock Your Design. So it was like human design and gene keys, looking at some of these asteroids. And so I'm not going to do the entire thing, but I'll give you a sense of it and where it started. Um, and then when I'm complete with that, it'd be really lovely to hear about your own experiences of Kali. I don't know if any of you have managed to look it up in your chart. If so, you can put it in the chat and we can talk about those also at the end. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I always like to see if there's any patterns. So mine came out, I have Kali in my personality in Gene Key 42, which is all about detachment and celebration. The programming partner is the 32, which is the life work of Soul Tribe. And it's all about the preservation of like spiritual lineages and ancestral lineages. And I felt that detachment has been such an important part of my life. So I feel like Carly's really helping me anchor that detachment and not getting kind of so overwhelmed with emotion and pulled into dramas in my own mind and stuff. So it feels like detachment is the swords of Carly for me. And in my design, she's in Gene Key 7, which is all about, it's a Gene Key of guidance. So it felt perfect actually to lead the Kali meditation and to be a guide for Kali coming in, I guess, through this particular forum. And if you're watching on my YouTube channel, Soul Tribe's a wonderful subscription platform where you can do yoga, astrology, gene keys, and it's fantastic. So I'll put the details there. Okay, so I'm going to jump into sharing my presentation. Move this a bit. Okay, so there is an asteroid called Kaali, which is actually spelled with double A, Kaali, and her number is 4227. So if you go to www.taraka.io, and there everything's in numerical order. So if you keep going down quite a while, when you get to 4227, you will discover Kali. And in the first of the first column is your personality, gene key, human design, and then the second column is your I've forgotten the word now, but the deeper one, the unconscious one that's imprinted pre-birth. The word will come to me. Design, that's it. Okay, so I'll talk about that a bit more at the end as well. but that is essentially it. And Taraka IO is great because it gives you the placement in the zodiac as well as the human design gene key placement. Okay, so who is Kali? Kali or Kalika is a Hindu goddess, so she belongs very much in this tradition of Kundalini yoga. She's one of 10 Mahavedas. She's associated with the destruction phase of the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. And she feels very significant to this moment in time because we're in this really intense period of leading up to 2027, when we're going to change from the cross of planning into the cross of the sleeping phoenix. And already we can see the kind of crumbling of infrastructure, the intense pressure on the biology of all life forms of the planet as we go through this rebirth. But unless we're able to clear the old and kind of know what to let go of, the birth then becomes kind of all hung up. So this kind of purification we're doing, and in the Kali meditation, we're purifying the arc lines above the head and across the breast. So we're very much, the practice of the meditation is very much clearing the places without having to go through like counseling or psychology or back into trauma. The process of the meditation actually clears things in a really efficient way. And it might bring up memories, and if it does, just to like be with those and trust that just keep doing the process and the being with the breathing, and that will pass. So what does she mean in the birth chart? Well, different astrologers will have different takes on this, but this is what I feel she means. She shows us where we might find protection and liberation from dangerous or even demonic forces. And the gene key or HD gate she's in can give you specific information about how you manage your inner masculine force. So this in turn allows the masculine within you and around you to be safely absorbed into the receptive feminine and experience ego death and timelessness and lack of fear. It's interesting, we're in Gene Key 46 while I'm doing this, because that kind of feeling, and I feel like, that's terrifying, but actually when you break into it, it's a very ecstatic feeling. So Kali is the consort of Shiva, and she's also often called the Dark Mother or Mother of the Universe. So in the mythology, she emanates from Durga, the mother goddess, to destroy a demon who replicates himself through blood. So every time she kills a demon, his blood falls to earth and new demons pop up wherever the blood has been. And so Kali, with her tongue, manages to drink the blood of the demon before it touches earth and therefore destroy him. And I felt like a really powerful transmission, and there was so much interest in this thing about blood in this other class I did. Because our DNA is replicated through our blood, and these ancestral demons or thoughts. So, demon might be a really deeply held fear, for example, that makes you behave in ways that you wouldn't normally behave in. So just being open to the idea of, rather than Kali killing demons on the outside, that when we invite Kali to address our thoughts, our emotions that have a demonic quality and they keep replicating, You know, all of us probably have this. I definitely have, like these thoughts, you know, and a lot of it links to lack of self-worth is the deepest thought that for me is where I always get to. And so for me, what Kaali is bringing in through her destroying the demon thoughts is self-love and self-nurture. Okay, and then she also embodies rage, which we know is a very difficult emotion for women. And this is more about a collective rage of like the outrage of what has happened to women, what has happened to our planet. You know, it's kind of a collective feeling. It's not although it can be connected to the anger you might feel when your child or your partner does something, those kinds of angers can definitely trigger deeper collective fear, rages as well. But this is about a more collective thing. So that's what I'm sort of trying to communicate here. Okay, so this is the image that really fascinated me. And what is amazing is my partner knew nothing about this, what I'd been talking about and blah, blah, blah. And he, last Sunday, went to a museum in London that had, it's like a collector's museum on stuff he got from all over the world. And there's actually a statue of this image of Kaali standing on Shiva's chest. And so he's sending me pictures of this just as like we're coming home and I'm about to launch into this. So it felt like an absolute confirmation that Kaali definitely wants to say hello to all of us, and this image in particular feels really important. Okay, so when I did the first class on Kaali, she was actually in Gene Key 1, which is pure yang in our current I Ching, and Gene Key 2 is pure yin. But there is this thing that somewhere along the line, these two got switched. So originally, Gene Key 1 was the origin, the divine feminine, which does actually kind of make more sense from the point of view of how creation comes out of the void and then light is created and stars and planets. But this is from Gene Key 2, and I feel it's been really influential, this little bit of writing by Richard Rudd. It's really helped me kind of see something of major importance and that we've been working with for a while. So the divine feminine pole has a great mystery within it, because in a certain sense, it cannot be said to be a pole at all. The masculine pole is very simple and straightforward, but the feminine is beyond any sense of reason and understanding. The masculine principle is really an externalization of the feminine rather than a duality. At the Siddhic level, there is no such thing as duality. Duality is destroyed by a strange kind of divine logic. At this heightened level of awareness, mathematics works quite differently than on the mental level. 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2, but always makes 3. The only numbers that really exist at the Siddhic level are 1 and 3. 1 is 1. It is consciousness resting in its own nature. It is the ultimate state of yin or femininity, or the second hexagram is often known as the receptive. Okay, but bear in mind there that we could be talking about the 1 as the receptive, where Kaali happened to be when I did this talk. I'm just going to open this a bit. So this is the demon with the head cut off, and this is its body. And this is Shiva in a sort of state of ecstasy. So he's not fighting Kali off. This isn't about domination. That's really what I want to communicate. This, my understanding is this is not about the feminine dominating the masculine. This is about the feminine holding and shaping and directing the masculine. And if we look at that inside ourselves, then this is about our right imaginative brain, our intuition, guiding and directing all of our actions in the world, which is our yang, our masculine. Okay. So I love this picture as well. Here's Kali with her tongues out. She's got 10 heads. This is how she's killing this demonic energy in the inside, and she's got all these weapons in her hand. So in our meditation, we come to doing 4 hands, but you can imagine as many as you like. You know, this Kali has 10 hands, and as we go on and we get more into the meditation, I might invite more hands in. And these are the skulls of these demons. So I think of these demons as these thoughts of unworthiness, these kind of thoughts of failure, you know, thought, all the kind of patterns that are deeply ingrained in me. I see these as these demonic kind of energies because they're not serving me. They're only serving to kind of drag me down, really, and bring feelings of depression and whatever. So, so it feels like Kali is, I've just made an incredible leap through Kali, this kind of quantum leap into, yeah, these things just kind of dissolving, really. So I hope you get that same quantum leap too with this one. So this is also from Gene Key 2. At the shadow frequency, the masculine always comes first, which becomes the ways of distrust, separation, and force. The feminine approach, however, is based on unity, surrender, and trust, which are the hallmarks of all higher frequencies. So this is why we want the feminine to hold the masculine, hold that distrust, that separation, and bring it into unity, surrender, and trust. Furthermore, one of the translations for this hexagram, known as kan, is the word field. This is a beautifully apt word to describe this second gene key because it represents the universal field in which we live. To move in harmony with this field is to be orientated, and to move out of harmony with the field is to be disorientated and dislocated. Okay, so where is Kali now? Well, she's in Gene Key 34, which has actually come into our field for anyone who was there for the sharing. Lee was talking about the 34, and it's a very powerful gene key. It's called like the queen on the throne. So actually on the day we started our Kali meditation 6 days ago, Kali was also with Lilith and Pallas Athena. So there's a lot of power there in those 3 archetypes. So what is this 34 about? Well, she's, as I say, she's called the power of the queen on the throne. So this is from the Gene Keys book again. The 34th shadow concerns the notion of individual human power. It represents an ancient part of our genetic matrix that is primarily based on individual survival, the survival of the fittest. The primal power source has its deep roots deep in our genetic past and began when the very first plants appeared on Earth. So this gene key is very connected in with the plant kingdoms. It was also strongly apparent during the reptilian phase of evolution on our planet. The reign of the dinosaurs during the Mesozoic era is an archetype of the power lying within the 34th gene key. It's huge. It's like Kaali. In human evolution, it was the power determined to survive that literally forced the spines of our early hominid ancestors into progressively more upright stances. This is the force that made us different from all other mammals, because the moment we were upright, our brains began to develop differently. So, despite our burgeoning intelligence, the 34th shadow still lies within us, the urge to use force to make things happen in life, and it can be highly destructive when influenced by low frequency vibration. So before knowing any of this, I really wanted to use this mudra when we do our practice, this holding of the right fist of force with the left divine feminine. And I think that energy really encapsulates like the holding and directing of this, it's so primal. It's not consciousness, because it sort of precedes consciousness. It feels really interesting whenever I tune in to the 34. Some of you may have it in your charts and want to say something more about it. Okay, so this is another painting of the same thing. So here we have Kaali. She's got her swords. She's got the demon's head there. And she's standing on Shiva, and we can see also the serpent there. There's a serpent round his hands, and those you could say represent the Kundalini energy as well, being kind of contained and directed by the holding power of Kaali. Okay, so interpreting Kaali in your chart. So I've mentioned before, there's the personality key, which on Taraka.io is the first column. And so the personality key is the one you'll have the most conscious awareness of. You might go, aha, yeah, that feels really right. The design key is more hidden and subconscious, and that's the one in the right column. So remember, the gift is found inside the shadow. So don't give yourself a hard time when the shadow arises. Be curious and open as to what you may see as the hologram of life repeats the pattern. I found it quite useful, actually, to think of the demon as the shadow, and to then think about how to not let the blood touch the ground and the demon to recreate itself. And that gift of detachment has really helped me, like maybe not emotionally react to something and therefore recreate the pattern, or get into a mind thought pattern that then is recreating this kind of feelings of unworthiness, blah, 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 blah. Okay, and then even the simple act of deepening your breath and being present in the shadow will start to open the gift. And especially right now, because Gene Key 20, which is presence, is the programming partner of Gene Key 34, where Kaali is. So, we can really bring into everything we're doing, but even if you only do it for those 30 minutes a day in the meditation, really bring your presence, let everything else go. If you find yourself drifting off, just come back again, but just really devote yourself to being present while you are doing the practice. And I think that is a really powerful thing to do now. I mean, it is anyway, but now the cosmos is also saying, like, do it now. It's really good time. So feel into and evoke your gifts. We can have a look in a minute where your gene keys are and what gifts you have, all of us. And if you're into more advanced astrology, then you can look at any channels that are created. You can look at where she is astrologically, the sign of the zodiac, the house she's in, and all of that will give you a whole other dimension of information. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm going to pause the recording now while we just talk about our Kaalis. Yes, so let me press. Where are you gone? Ah, there we go.